I love both guys. I love both guys. I had a conversation with Stephen A about it, and I told him straight up, if I were LeBron, I would have walked up on him the same way. But let me drop the mic on all of this once and for all because Stephen A. Smith is tweaking. And Dwyane Wade, oh, he's eating this up. See, Stephen A. tried to stir up drama about LeBron James, but Wade wasn't about to let that slide. He stepped in to set the record straight, and let's just say, he did not hold back. Mans practically escorted Stephen A. out of the chat. But instead of taking the L, Stephen A. decided to double down and go on a full-blown rant about it on his show. And guess what? He still doesn't think he did anything wrong. Instead, he's flipping the script and blaming Dwyane Wade for calling him out. That's my job. That's my job. I'm supposed to ignore that while he's wearing a Lakers uniform? Sir, be so for real. The way this feud is escalating, it's giving somebody get their uncle vibes. So what really went down? Why is Stephen A. so pressed about this? And why is the internet dragging him for filth? Let's get into it. First things first, this beef goes deep. LeBron James and Dwyane Wade have been tight since 2003 when they entered the NBA together. They've won multiple championships, and their friendship has never wavered, which even Stephen A. admitted at one point. But here's where things get messy. During a discussion about LeBron's best teammate ever, Stephen A. threw in names like Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving, completely ignoring Wade. And that was just the start. See, Wade recently appeared on 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmelo Anthony, and he was ready to talk his talk. He made it clear he's got love for both LeBron and Stephen A. In fact, Wade even revealed that he had a private conversation with Stephen A. after everything went viral. And guess what Wade told him? As a father, I'm walking up on you, right? Yeah, he straight up told Stephen A. he would have done the exact same thing as LeBron. And let's be honest, LeBron never does stuff like this. The man barely reacts when players foul him on the court. So for him to step up to Stephen A. like that says a lot. Wade explained that LeBron didn't just snap out of nowhere. It was Stephen A. talking crazy about his son in front of millions that pushed him over the edge. And instead of owning up to it, Stephen A. got in his feelings. He ran to Gil's Arena and called LeBron's reaction weak. Weak? Sir, what's weak is you running to your platform every 5 seconds to cry about this instead of facing it head on. But Wade wasn't about to fan the flames any further. Instead, he hit Stephen A. with an interesting take. He told him that LeBron stepping up to him was actually a compliment. Stephen, I think that's a sign of respect. That man sees you as someone important enough to address directly.
I have a personal relationship with Stephen A. Obviously, our relationship with Brian and my relationship with Brian is documented.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And I have a relationship with Stephen A. as well. And so we talk. You know what I mean? I'm not talking out of school. Me and him text back and forth about the situation.
And guess what Dwyane told him? He told him that if he was a father, he would have pulled the same move on Smith.
I told him, as a father, I'm walking up on you.
Right.
He also pointed out how the fact that LeBron even got in Stephen's face was all kinds of shocking, because the Lakers player hardly ever loses his cool.
I get it, because I'm like that too. Like I'm at you.
Of course.
But also, you know what I told him, I said, and I think we've never seen LeBron do that. Like we've never seen, like LeBron don't even go back at players that foul him too hard on the court. We've never seen him be, like he's always been just even keel and level headed in every aspect. And sometimes you want him to jump. Sometimes you want him to go. And he won't.
But watching Stephen sitting on that bench after the things he said about his son in front of everyone is the one thing that made LeBron lose his temper. And to Dwyane, that makes perfect sense, and he told Stephen the same thing. FYI, Stephen was partly mad about LeBron getting in his face like that. During his sit down on the Gil's Arena, he called the player's decision to confront him in front of the cameras weak.
What do you make of LeBron confronting you in the aftermath of that situation?
I thought it was weak. I thought it was some.
And listen, he's not wrong. Stephen A. has one of the biggest voices in sports media. He's literally the face of ESPN. The fact that LeBron even bothered to say something to him instead of ignoring him like he does with everyone else, that is a sign of respect. But did Stephen A. take that and move on? Nope. Instead, he went on his show and started screaming into the mic like he was about to drop a mixtape. I would never call out somebody as a father. I was talking about what we saw on the court. That's my job. That's my job. Stephen, please, breathe. And here's the wildest part. After all this backlash, Stephen A. still won't back down. It's a week later, and I'm still standing by everything I said. I was right. I was doing my job.
Because I want to put an end once and for all to this discussion about yours truly and LeBron James in light of what happened last week. Dwyane Wade and Carmelo Anthony, both of whom know LeBron very well, weighed in on the situation between me and LeBron.
And here's what he had to say. Surprisingly, he was thankful to Dwyane for laying down the facts. He didn't make it seem like Steven backstabbed a friend. He and LeBron have rarely seen eye to eye on anything, and Dwyane acknowledged that. The sports commentator said, like Melo said, it's been stewing for years. See, what I've gotten pissed about with this particular subject is that too many people are not touching on the truth. Melo and D-Wade did. Me and LeBron don't have a relationship. LeBron don't mess with me, and I don't mess with him. I respect the hell out of him. Apart from that, Steven offered some clarification on why he's been going around talking about the incident on shows. He could have just said his piece to LeBron's face that day, but he didn't. Turns out he didn't want to make a scene. He said, me and LeBron, we don't roll like that, hi and bye. He ain't have much use for me, and I damn sure don't have much use for him. And that expletive was cemented when he did what he did the other day, because you rolled up on me knowing that I wouldn't have a chance to respond unless I was willing to make a scene, which was at courtside while the national televisions were rolling on the day that my new contract had been announced to the world. It's not gonna stop me from doing my job.
Sir, if it's been a week, maybe it's time to move on, because the internet is not buying it. One person said, for the last time, bro said this like 3 times already. Another wrote, you don't want to put an end to this. You love this convo. And guess who else is over it? LeBron James himself. During an appearance on the Pat McAfee show, LeBron finally broke his silence, and he dragged Stephen A for blowing this whole thing out of proportion. It's been weeks and he's still talking about it. Bruh, it's giving Taylor Swift tour-level energy at this point. Oh, not a Taylor Swift comparison. But LeBron wasn't done. He basically said he regrets even confronting Stephen A because the man completely missed the point. You can criticize the game, you can criticize the play, but when you get personal, it's my job to step in and protect my household. And then he hit Stephen A with the final KO punch. I know he's gonna make another video about this. He's gonna go home, grab some ice cream, sit in his chair in his tidy whities, and be grinning ear to ear because I just talked about him again. Maranam. Somebody check on Stephen A. He's not gonna survive this one. And LeBron isn't the only one saying Stephen A is dragging this whole thing. Draymond Green spoke up and basically said, Stephen A is lucky this was just a courtside confrontation. Because where they're from, words like that could get you hands. Calling another man weak, where we grew up, you get hands put on you for that. Whew, and honestly, he's got a point. The way Stephen A has been talking reckless. He's lucky LeBron only pulled up courtside and didn't take it any further. And then there's Candace Owens, who had a very different take. She said LeBron can't have it both ways. If he wants Bronny to play at a professional level, he needs to be ready for professional level criticism, which, fair. But at the end of the day, this whole thing has been blown way out of proportion, and even Bronny himself is staying out of it. Instead of entertaining the drama, he's focused on the game. And recently, he balled out against the Milwaukee Bucks, dropping a career-high 17 points in 30 minutes. Even Stephen A had to admit he was impressed. But will that stop him from dragging this mess on forever? Probably not. So what do you think? Was Wade right to check Stephen A? Should LeBron have ignored him? Or is Stephen A just doing what he does best? Being messy. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to check out the next video, because this tea is far from over.